Well, gaming news today is all about Ghost of Yotei, and I'm doing a bit of an experiment. So if you're watching this later, you're like, what in the world is a Ghost of Yotei waiting room? Well, we like to do waiting rooms when something is about to happen, an event, a Nintendo Direct, a State of Play, an Xbox Direct, something that we're going to watch together. And primarily, I am not known for Let's Plays or gameplay. I showcase a game when it comes out, and then I usually move on from that to just back to gaming news and live discussions and talk shows. And that's what this is going to be, just us sort of hanging out and talking gaming news, things going on, while we sort of wait for me to dive into Ghost of Yotei. The bulk of my audience, my core audience, really does like that daily talk show. I didn't want to take that away from them. I'm anxious to dive into Yotei, but I understand people don't want spoilers. People don't like the gameplay because they, I'm not talking nearly as much. It doesn't make for a great ride-along sometimes if they're liking that background noise, that podcast feel. And so this is going to be a bit of an experiment. If you guys liked the fact that I did this, be sure to hit like, be sure to leave a comment, become a member. That's how I do this full time. Hit that join button. And yesterday I did a Returnal stream, kind of walking through people this guide that I came up with, this way of leveling weapons. That was something I just did for paying members. So if you click join and you pick Member Plus, you'll have access to that as well as those streams that I do. Green Room, Morning Coffee, streams with my wife. So good morning. Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Thank you guys so much for being here. Make sure, if you are in the live environment, that you're hitting that like button about as quickly as you can to see if we can't meet a bunch of new people today. There's people that are going to be looking for Yotei, and they'll come in and they'll be like, oh, you're going to play? I'll hang out here and watch you play maybe, and we'll meet some great folks. And Joker Quinn's going to kick things off. Han shot first, and so did you, and that is a 5-bomb to start the day. We're at 354, the weekly goal being 500, and then Madam and I will play Lego Party on Friday night. There's also the stretch goal for Community Game Night. There's also the stretch goal of the Returnal challenge that we came up with. So this person is now the global franchise director of Destiny 2, worked on Veilguard, Starfield, the next Mass Effect game. Yeah, I didn't realize that they had a new global franchise director of Destiny 2. I thought that they had put Dustin in charge of that. Yeah, you said that in Morning Coffee, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. That's a little strange. Today's the day I finally launched Ghost of Tsushima on Steam. Do it. How long before you play? We'll probably hang out for as long as I feel like is productive. Like, I know people like that morning talk show. I like the morning talk show. It feels weird to start my day and just immediately locked into a game and not talking. I've not done that for 10 years. I start my day hanging out with y'all. And that was what I wanted to try today. Hey, let's just boot up and, see how it feels, see how the vibe is, see how people respond. And we're already 40 likes away from 100 likes. So let's do it. Let's put some gas in the tank and let's have a talk show, My collector's edition is out for delivery. I'm getting it today, is what it said. YouTube for me started with playthroughs and cat videos, and then how-to videos as I got older. That's right. Yeah, you move from that's right. You move from playthroughs to being like, how do you fix this light switch? Those DIY channels will save you. They really, really will. And I'm the lag. Thank you for 3 months over there on Twitch using your Prime, says Bazinga. We are exactly 20 members away from the next milestone. At 375, I will owe somebody a member, whether it's Purple or YouTube. So get those in. Now's the perfect time for a member bomb. And the incentive is no longer happening on Purple, but you guys can still go crazy and bless others, and then I gift back every 25. How do I install this filter into my fridge? Yeah, I looked up a video on how to replace the ice maker in my fridge, and then the thing that spins the ice in the door broke a week later. I was so angry. I was so angry. But if you guys are looking for Ghost of Yotei gameplay, I will be diving in an hour or two, somewhere in there. We'll just hang out for a while. And I will say this. The overwhelming majority of what I'm seeing in Ghost of Yotei, sort of reaction to gameplay, people are like, it actually looks better than they were expecting. They're really, really giving it high praise. I was watching your Returnal in 2025 video, and it was solid. Great guide type, especially for the beginning. Yeah, somebody asked me on Twitter last night, is there meta progression? And I was basically like, watch this video. I explain how you progress in Returnal. A lot of people are unaware of how it works. Wait, Tycho, I didn't add yours to the total. I need to add you to the total as well over there on purple. Thank you so much, Tycho. You renewed with your Prime as well, and I think I missed that. When you play PS5 in this room, do you play on a 1440 screen? I do, yes. I'm trying a trip to Wyoming to get a wolf companion. Do it. I just put up a video of why every PlayStation story is the same. They put out a video saying why every PlayStation story is the same. So that you're telling me right now they have a video declaring that. Because if they did, that's hysterical and not true, like, at all. Why is every PlayStation story the same? Like, Ghost of Yotei's tale of grief, revenge, and PlayStation's struggle for new stories. I can't even begin to tell you how egregiously inaccurate that is. To act like God of War 2018 is similar to Tsushima, and then that's similar to The Last of Us, and then that's similar to Returnal, and then that's similar to Spider-Man, and then that's similar to Horizon Zero Dawn. Like, you talk about brain dead analysis, that's awful. None of those games are even remotely similar. Like, not at all. Why do all these stories involve interpersonal conflict and change? Sorry about that, Wilbur. I'll pause them. I forgot to pause them. Like, that's not even remotely true. Astrobot's all about grief. Well, like, to act like grief is what all these games are about, like, that's not what God of War 2018 is about. Grief is the catalyst to their journey, and it is a part of the story. But God of War 2018 is more about a father and a son growing in their understanding of each other and becoming better men because of it. It's actually a story about relational growth and change more than grief. Now, yes, grief is a huge element of Death Stranding 2 and Expedition 33. Those are two games that have really gotten deep into the subject of grief. But, like, Tsushima is not about grief either. Tsushima is about, as I just did a huge retrospective on it, Ghost of Tsushima is about the question of what is true honor and what's the cost of honor. What do you sacrifice when you decide to take an honorable path? And then Returnal is about being trapped by guilt, not grief. Like, to think that all these stories are the same is, I mean, you talk about an utterly bankrupt position. I mean, I think what they're doing is, what they typically do is you try to go with a negative thing when something's going well. Like, I don't know. That thumbnail and title just seems really spiteful right now. It just doesn't seem to be like a genuine position. That seems like an angry fan that's angry that, you know, PlayStation's in a good spot right now and having one of their big franchises drop and get mountains of praise and potential Game of the Year, you know, contention. I'm playing Ghost right now. The first thing I would notice, okay, so we are going to be talking about Ghost of Yotei gameplay, but no spoilers. The first thing I notice is the fast pace and the first one on the combat. Oh, then the first one. The combat's more challenging. Okay, Horizon Story is the furthest thing away from that. Yeah, Horizon Story is really interesting. Like, Horizon Story is more Chosen One. Like, cliche, like, kind of like the cliche Chosen One story. But then you find out, like, the depth and the complexity of, like, Aloy's origins and what happened to Earth to make it be in the state that it's in. There's nothing in there at all that's about, like, grief or revenge. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That literally feels like, you know, somebody saying that feels like those dudes on those podcasts that say things like that. Oh, it's a movie game. If I wanted to watch a movie, I'd go watch a movie. There's no... there's no intellectual breakdown. There's nothing logical about it. It's an emotional tantrum, right? It's a boyish tantrum to be like, you know, oh, they're movie games. Man, it's like, what? Like if anybody that ever said that actually played one of these games and was forced to stream it and like actually break down the mechanics, the gameplay, the combat, the exploration, you know, they would be like, oh yeah, there's actually a lot of video game here. There's not, like, there are cutscenes, there is a story, there is a cinematic thrust to the game, but it's not the movie game thing. That's what that feels like to me. That feels like an intentional sort of, yeah, all of the PlayStation stories are the same. I'm like, what? I'm literally thinking of doing these deep dives into the stories because they're all so different and they all deal with such different themes and in such different ways. To act like Yōtei is just another story like all the other PlayStation stories, I think is some of the worst analysis I've ever heard of from a gaming outlet. Like that's trash. Like that's a trash analysis. You're not actually breaking down the stories and the themes. Like as a literary critic, I mean, I don't know, man. It sounds like somebody needs to go to college and take a literary criticism course to me to pick out like themes and analyzing the crisis, struggle, and resolution of a story and character arcs. And if you can't do that, then maybe you shouldn't speak on these things. Would be my feedback on a video like that. Because if you think that about PlayStation games, then you're a failure as a literary critic. Who said that? IGN has a video on their channel right now. I don't even want to give it a view. The thumbnail says, "Why are PlayStation games all the same? Ghost of Yotei's tale of grief, revenge, and PlayStation's struggle for new stories." Whilst playing Ghost of Yotei's tale of revenge and grief, we began to notice some similarities with other PlayStation first-party games like The Last of Us Part 2, God of War Ragnarok, and Death Stranding 2. Yeah, I mean, that's what I think of when I'm playing a story that, funny enough, is more adjacent to like Assassin's Creed Shadows, like a story about revenge that Ghost of Yotei is about. That's what I thought of when I played Ragnarok and Death Stranding 2. Death Stranding 2 is about grief more than revenge. Like, revenge is there, but, like, not really. Like, it's part of it, but it's not really the main thrust of the story. God of War Ragnarok is not about revenge. And The Last of Us Part 2 certainly is about revenge, but not in the way that Yōtei is. The revenge in Last of Us Part 2 is more about cycle of violence and how the world becomes very gray and you don't really know who's right and who's wrong when everybody's just killing in response to somebody else's killing. So to say that, like, oh yeah, Ghost of Yotei is very similar to The Last of Us Part 2, God of War Ragnarok, and Death Stranding 2, like, that's comical. That's comically bad analysis of the stories. That's comically bad. But, I mean, it got us talking about them, and they're probably hoping it generates clicks. I can't imagine seeing that, watching that, and reading that description and being like, that was a real thoughtful video. That was really thought-provoking, you know, literary analysis of these stories, their structures, their themes, and their characters. Oh, boy. I mean, we know IGN has a pretty strong bent at times. I feel like their reviews are very typically fair, like, because they have a lot of people there, and I feel like they've got good people working there that actually can do good reviews. But they also have people there that are incredibly misleading and dishonest. Like when they misquoted PlayStation's earnings call to say that we were in the latter stages of the PS5, and the statement was latter half. Latter stages and latter half are completely different statements. So when you're 4 years into a generation and someone says latter half, you're like, oh, there's probably 4 more years. You hear latter stages and you're like, what's going on? You're already ending this gen? What? So, you know, they're they've got people there that just say things that aren't true. And so it doesn't surprise me at all that somebody thought that video was a fair analysis of the stories of Ragnarok, Last of Us Part 2, Death Stranding 2, and Yōtei. And they're like, yeah, they're similar because there's revenge. And it's like, lots of stories have revenge themes in them. That doesn't mean that's the thrust of the story. That doesn't mean that's the crux of it. You know, the crisis, the struggle, and the resolution of Last of Us Part 2 is incredibly distinct and different than Ragnarok. Like, they're completely different stories with completely different structures of how the characters interact with the world and what they're processing and who's the antagonist, the protagonist. Well, there's actually multiple, you know, and in The Last of Us Part 2, you don't really know, you know, it's not clear. That's kind of the point. $5 super chat from Mark. Playing on the PS5 Pro in Ray Tracing Pro mode is insane. Best looking game I've ever seen on a console. This game reminds me of Kill Bill. Incredible. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Guys, make sure you are hitting the like button. Make sure you're hitting the like button. We're going to be getting into Ghost of Yotei gameplay soon, but I wanted to give you guys a talk show and an opportunity to talk and debate and just discuss gaming news. The title seems a little like clickbait, but I feel potentially there could be conversation to be had about matching themes throughout PlayStation games. I don't know. I don't play a lot of them. I played God of War Ragnarok. I played Death Stranding 2, and I played The Last of Us Part 2. I'm here to tell you, the stories have almost nothing in common. Like, almost nothing in common. If you roll credits on Ragnarok and you think it's about grief and revenge, if you roll credits on Death Stranding 2 and you think it's about grief and revenge, like, there's grief. I think there's a significant amount of grief in Death Stranding 2. That's one of the main themes of what's going on and how to overcome that, okay? One of the major themes of Death Stranding 2 is getting through grief requires community. That's, I think, one of the main themes of Death Stranding 2, okay? Ragnarok's story is not about that at all. Even if you could say it's sort of living in the shadow of the grief of the first game, and now what do they do? Like, what are they supposed to do with their lives? I would say it's more about how Kratos' past won't let him escape it. And instead of succumbing to it and saying, yeah, I'll just be this man of violence, I'll just be this agent of violence, he rejects it and says that we should be better. Thor wants him to sort of give into it. Thor wants him to give into, you know, his past, be his past self, and he refuses to. The whole message is be better. It's about personal growth. It's about overcoming your past. It's about essentially making a change and sticking to it. And also, you see that in Atreus. Like, Atreus is coming into his own and establishing his own ideas about, like, who he's supposed to be. And then in Last of Us Part 2, again, to say it's about revenge is very simplistic. The revenge of The Last of Us Part 2 is one piece of a giant canvas about the cycle of violence. And when you're in a cycle of violence and a cycle of revenge, there is nobody who's right. There is nobody who's wrong. It becomes very gray. It becomes very non-distinct. And it also shows that the cycle of violence is unsatisfying, and it causes the person doing it harm to their soul, and that's embodied by her lack of a finger at the end of the game. She lost one of the most meaningful things to her last sort of connection to Joel, being able to play the guitar. She loses that because of her insistence on going for revenge. Jack Garland with a $5 super chat. Lono, we're just going to talk about whatever chill. Oh, wait, IGN said something stupid. Change of plans. That's right. Predator says, happy Yōtei Day. My backlog is hurting. Thank you, Predator. I didn't see that. That's a VIP renewal. Let me add you to the total. This is how AI summarized the video, says Wolf Saints. The video discusses growing concern that many of the PlayStation first-party games are starting to tell very similar stories, primarily revolving around themes of grief and revenge. While acknowledging the high quality and cinematic nature of these games, the speaker expresses a desire for more variety within PlayStation's offerings. Repetitive themes. They point out that games like Yōtei, Last of Us Part 2, Ragnarok, Spider-Man series, Returnal, and even Death Stranding 2 consistently explore familial grief and revenge. Missing variety. So again, familial grief I mean, I guess you could say that about all of them, but that's only one part of the whole story. That would be like saying, all these games include relationships. Like, yeah, and Wire Rope comes in with the second 5 bomb of the day to put Twitch in the lead. We're now at 362. Thank you so much. Missing variety. They long for an era of PlayStation's range of games with are more diverse. Examples of the past include Uncharted with its adventure themes, Insomniac's Resistance, Little Big Planet, which celebrated creativity and community. So did they not play Astrobot? Did they not play Ratchet and Clank? Did they not play Helldivers 2? Did they not play Stellar Blade? These are all games. These are all exclusives and first party. Some of those are first party games that explore other story elements that are more whimsical or more adventurous. I don't know. Again, when you're sort of in a disingenuous way stripping down all the games to be like, well, they include familial grief and revenge. Okay, Returnal doesn't have revenge in it, and it's not necessarily familial grief. I believe that Returnal is about guilt, and if you think that it's just about familial grief and revenge, I don't know what frickin' game you played. Because it's, to me, far more clearly that Returnal is about guilt and the trap of guilt, right? There is familial, actually, it's more about trauma than grief within the family, right? It's more about trauma within your family than grief because of the trauma of what she went through with her mother. That's what Tower of Sisyphus really drives home, that her mother's expectations and her mother's negativity and criticism really drove her, which is kind of a companion story to the real story. What drove her to try to be an astronaut, what drove her to being tired that night on the road and wrecking the car and hallucinating and ultimately killing her child, is what her mother did to her. So it's all wound up within the guilt of what happened, and she can't escape it. She can't escape the guilt of what happened, and what drove her there is the Tower of Sisyphus that her mother put her in. Like, that is nothing like the grief that you talk about in Death Stranding 2 or the revenge themes in The Last of Us Part 2. These games are completely and utterly different in their storytelling and in their themes and in their methods, and to act like, oh, they're all the same, I think that's just a really, really bad take. I don't think that's accurate at all. Seems like a fundamental misunderstanding of a lot of these stories. It's almost like a very superficial understanding of the stories. Like you're picking out minor themes and acting like it's the major theme, and then acting like, yeah, that's what the game's about. When is the gameplay? I don't know, in an hour or so. He mentions Astrobot in the article as being the exception, and Ratchet and Clank doesn't count, and Helldivers 2 doesn't count. Like, these are more fun, more whimsical, more adventurous style games. You realize that any action game with killing needs a basic justification for the violence to keep the main character from looking like a sociopath. So take all the analysis I just did about Returnal, then look at my analysis of the story of Tsushima that is ultimately about, like, the cost of honor and what is true honor, okay? Then look at Ragnarok, and then look at The Last of Us Part 2, and if you're like, yeah, these stories are all basically the same, I'm like, good golly, you wouldn't make it in a literary criticism class in community college. You'd flunk out. I'd be like, yeah, all these stories are basically about people. Like, yeah? If you reduce it down to almost every movie or TV show is about involving familial grief. James MC gifted a member over here on YouTube to tie it up. And then a DTOM VIP 49-month removal says it's Yōtei time. I never played Ghost of Tsushima because I got a PlayStation late. I wonder what your opinion will be for me to play Yōtei before Tsushima. I think that's a bad idea. You do whatever you want, but I think that's a bad idea. How is Ragnarok about familial grief and revenge? I don't know. 2018, God of War 2018 deals with familial grief, but not revenge. Like, yes, the grief is the catalyst to the journey that Kratos and Atreus take together. But it's not about revenge, and the whole game is not about grief. The primary message of 2018 is essentially relational growth and coming into one's own. And honestly, I think it's about wisdom. I think a lot of what God of War 2018 is about is wisdom. Is being a wise person, being a prudent person, and seeing the value in like what his wife wanted them to do, seeing the value of their relationship, seeing the value in each other. Like, I don't know. He imparts a lot of wisdom into his son in that game. And they grow in that wisdom. They grow in their it's honestly about being a man. I feel like a lot of the themes in 2018. It's not about revenge. They took revenge on their lack of emotional connection. Mimir has a lot to do with that. Yeah. Growth and change. Ragnarok is a story fueled by the loss of mothers and sons and the anger that comes with them. Wait, from the author. What author? Who are you quoting there, WGC? Let's overly simplify a common theme in literature and apply it to PlayStation so we can have a reason to put PlayStation in the title of our poorly thought out, disingenuous interpretation of a game. Yeah, Freya wanted revenge, but again, I actually think the most generic way you could whittle down Ragnarok and even 2018, it's about personal growth. Freya has to overcome, her grief and desire for revenge, but she's a part of an entire story about growth and betterment. We must be better is the note and the drum that Kratos just keeps banging on. We must be better. When he finally has the heart-to-heart with Atreus, after they go through that area where the wolf, your dog comes back and he's huge. Like, it's about change. It's about growth. It's about being better. It's not just like, yeah, it's about revenge. It's about grief. It's like, not really. Those are mere catalysts or pieces to the puzzle. They're not the whole thing. So the IGN author said that God of War Ragnarok is a story fueled by loss of mothers and sons and the anger that comes with them. That, again, is just not... That is such a terrible story summary of Ragnarok. Because the grief of the loss of the mother is certainly there, and it's certainly a part of what's going on. But a lot of what Ragnarok is about is Atreus coming into his own. Atreus is like discovering... essentially who he is. Gene Park says that the writing is a step up. No, thank you. Somebody ordered some coffee. Thank you, Predator, for ordering 6 bags of Frickmas. I greatly appreciate that. Like, I wonder what Google says. What is the God of War Ragnarok story about? Kratos and his son Atreus, as they face the impending Ragnarok, the prophesied end of the world. The game centers on their efforts to prevent the destruction of the 9 realms, confronting Odin, Freya, and Thor. Atreus also seeks to uncover his identity as Loki, while Kratos grapples with his past and his desire to be a different kind of father and god. Like, even AI knows that the story is more about pushing against the idea of destiny, and you can't change things, and you can't change, and your past defines who you are. Like, that literally is what Ragnarok is about. They're trying to stop Ragnarok, and in trying to stop Ragnarok, they kind of bring it about, and Kratos continues to be haunted by his past, and he's got Thor taunting him to be the guy he used to be, and Kratos keeps insisting, we can be better. And Atreus has to figure out who he is through this in order to be better and to not go the way that his dad went. Changing the whole sins of the father theme of like, well, what you did is going to determine my future and we can't escape it. What doesn't Kratos have a line like that? He's like, it's in the one trailer. He literally says something like that. He says like, it's not written. Like, we can chart our own path. Like, to be like, yeah, it's about grief and revenge. What the frick? That's not what Ragnarok's about at all. Yeah, fate versus free will. Another AI thinks the same thing, that Ragnarok is more about fate versus free will. The idea of, like, are these things predestined and determined by the gods and by destiny, or can we determine our own course? Ragnarok is not about revenge and grief. Those are pieces of the story. They're not the story. Thank you, AK Dual Sensible, for 27 months. Ever since Ziff Davis Group got a deal with Microsoft, suddenly they had money to buy a huge slice of the gaming media. IGN and many more were anti-PlayStation. Thank you so much for 27 months. And guys, make sure we're hitting the like button. We're just chilling and talking before I dive into Ghost of Yotei. That's it. That's the line. Fate only binds you if you let it. Do what is necessary, not because it is written. That, I'm telling you, there is so much wisdom in God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok. Sometimes it's literally like reading wisdom literature. Like, he's basically saying, you do what's necessary. You're not going to do something simply because it was written down or predetermined or somebody has decided, like, this is your future. You do what's necessary. You be prudent. You be wise. Like, even when Atreus just wants to kill just willy-nilly in 2018, Kratos is like, there are ramifications to killing a god, boy. Like, he's like, there will be ripple effects. You can't just go around and kill. That's wisdom. He's imparting knowledge and saying, you need to be prudent with your powers. You can't just go and do whatever you want. Again, that to me is about change. It's Kratos saying, I'm not going to be the God of War, which is very interesting. If you think about the game's title, God of War, it's all about him not even wanting to be on that path anymore. Pimptastical, I did miss yours. I'm sorry. 41 months. It's ghost time, fam. Boom. We are exactly 10 members away from 375. Who wants to be the first 10 bomb of the day? And then I will owe you guys a member, whichever platform hits it. Yeah, this is why that kind of analysis, this is why I've wanted to do deep dives into these stories. These stories are rich, well written, well structured, thoughtful, and then you get that level of analysis from you can't spell ignorant without IGN, Jiminy Christmas, to be like, oh yeah, these games are all about grief and revenge. Holy frick, did you even play Ragnarok? Jiminy Christmas. It's just terrible analysis. Oh, they make another God of War? Oh, they are. It's pretty clear they're probably going to go to Egypt. The 7 basic plots. Yes. And there are within storytelling. I mean, I saw a really great, lecture on this. There are basic story, not just story types and story plots. There are basic story structures. It's like hero starts here, hero ends up here, hero ends up here. That's the basic valley structure to story, right? The basic valley structure of a story is, and this is even more generic, crisis, struggle, resolution. You're presented with a crisis. So the hero, the main character, the protagonist, is presented with a crisis. So everything's going good usually, right? You start out, oh, this isn't so bad. And then, zombies break in, right? There's your crisis. So the game is then your struggle with that. And then the resolution is, how is all this resolved in the end? Like, that's your basic structure to all stories, okay? And if you break it down to just that, I could literally say that about every story. Yeah, I mean, all these stories are basically the same. They're all dealing with a crisis. There's always a struggle, and there's always a resolution. I really want new stories. That would be idiotic. Anybody in literature or literary criticism would be like, you're an idiot. That's basically the structure of every story. You're breaking things down to their bones and saying everything has bones, so everything's the same. Like, that's stupid. So I would be laughed at if I said that. Well, that's essentially what this is. You're taking very, very minor pieces of the story and attempting to make it seem like there's major. And then a 10 bomb comes in from 8K Dual Sensible. Boom. And hits 375. I owe you guys a member over there on YouTube. Let's get it. Well on our way to the goal. Thank you so, so much. Let me go ahead and gift that right now. You have Thor grieving too. If you think the theme and the main story of Ragnarok is about grief and revenge, you have a fundamental misunderstanding of how to do literary criticism. That is not what that story is about. That would be like saying that The Lord of the Rings is about grief, and you would just go to sections of the game that are about grief. That's called proof texting. You're basically just being like, well, I've determined that's what it's about, and I'm just going to go grab parts of the game that have that, or parts of the story that's about that. Like, if you summarize that and you said that about Lord of the Rings, it'd be very easy. You could go to multiple points in the game, not in the game. You go to multiple points in the book and be like, here they're grieving. See, it's a story about grief. That would be horrific literary analysis, because all you're doing is grabbing elements of the story and claiming that that's what the story is about. Like, you could say that about Tsushima. Yeah, Tsushima is just about grief. What? No, it's not. There are elements of grief within the story of Tsushima, but Tsushima's fundamentally about the cost of honor. Like, what is true honor, and then what's it cost? And it cost Jin Sakai everything. He lost his name, his lineage, his family, his friends, and he became a legend. He became a legend. He became the Ghost of Tsushima. He became mythical. But if you went to Tsushima and you're like, yeah, it's about grief, I'd be like, what the huh? No. You'd get an F on that paper. If you turn that in, you're like, yeah, this is what I think the game is about. You know, your literary professor would be like, what? That's not, huh? They'd be so confused. You've said that you shouldn't play Tsushima before Yōtei? Wait, no. Flip that around. I don't think you should play Yōtei before Tsushima. You're going to ruin Tsushima for yourself. Tsushima is a game from 5 years ago for the PS4. Yōtei is going to be significantly improved in many, many ways. Okay, so this is another thing that I would say. Don't ever do this to a game if you're wanting to get into the franchise. If you played Forbidden West before playing Zero Dawn, you'd struggle to enjoy Zero Dawn because there's less... It's not going to feel... You're just going in the wrong order. I'm not making my point very well. I could probably make my point a little bit better with Ori. Ori 1 and Ori 2, if you played Ori 2 first, you'd go back to Ori 1 and you'd feel like it's a regression. You would feel like things are missing. You'd feel like it's lacking things because they evolved it and expanded it. They actually took a lot of inspiration from Hollow Knight, so Ori and the Will of the Wisps is a significant uptick in, player volition, quality, tool sets, exploration, all of that. So you don't ever want to go in the reverse order because you're going to feel like it's a regression, and you're going to, I think, incorrectly, you're going to judge Tsushima and be like, yeah, Tsushima's not that good. Well, you're going backwards. Tsushima into Yōtei will feel like a natural journey where they're expanding on graphics, storytelling, cinematics, combat, stealth, tool set, all of that. It's going to kind of feel like it's this natural growth. Going the other way is like trying to close the petals of a flower and still retain its beauty. You're not going to be able to do it. Like, one game to the next tends to like open things up, like the way a flower opens. Disagree if time is an issue. Why would time be an issue? Are the games leaving? Going somewhere? Are they taking a trip? Like, what do you mean? No, don't buy into false urgency. You are the determiner of what you play and when. You don't answer to anybody's clock or expectations. Play Tsushima and have a great time soaking it in, and then get to Yōtei when you get to Yōtei. There's no urgency to play Yōtei right now. I'm not even saying play them back to back. That's another piece of advice I would give you, is don't play them back to back. There were people that played Death Stranding 1 right into Death Stranding 2. I'm glad that I didn't do that. I played Death Stranding 1, and then like a month or two later, Death Stranding 2 came out, and I was ready for it. I had played a bunch of games in between. But Death Stranding 2 felt great because I had played Death Stranding 1. It expanded and it evolved and opened up different systems and different gameplay loops, and it also graphically was a huge uptick. Listen, do whatever you want. I'm just giving advice. I don't think you should play games out of order like that. Tsushima, I'm going to get real passionate about this. Tsushima is a dadgum masterpiece. Don't do that to Tsushima. Are you insane? Like, it is a masterpiece. It's a work of art. It's brilliant. It's a wonderful game. Don't do that to it. Why would you do that to such a phenomenal game? You're going to hurt it. Your experience will be harmed. I promise you, if you play Yōtei first and then Tsushima, you'll be like, it's a bit of a regression. Well, yeah, you played them in the wrong order. Don't do that. Now, some franchises are so long-standing, I would say the opposite. Like with Borderlands, people are like, should I play Borderlands 1 and 2 before 4? I was like, no, you don't need to do that. That's too much. That's too much Borderlands. You don't need to play every Assassin's Creed game before you play, Shadows. Tsushima is worthy of that reverence to say, I'm going to play the first one, I think. And again, I'm just arguing my position. You can do with this information whatever you determine is best. I think you should play Tsushima first, and then wait a couple of months, and then play Yōtei. There's no rush. There's no rush. Enjoy them. Savor them. Games are here for you. You are not here for the games. These people that like turn video games into some weird identity thing, and they'll call me like a tourist. Listen, they're lost in a forest. They're treating games, they are a slave to the games. No. The games are here to me to serve me and my enjoyment, not the other way around. I don't serve the game. If a game's not enjoyable and I'm not having a good time with it, I'm going to put it down. I don't owe the game anything. The game is here for me. So treat it that way. Savor them. Play them when you get to them. Have a backlog. Be okay with that. Spoilers can be an issue. Fair. That's probably the most fair pushback on if you feel the time crunch. Okay. You probably know some of the more significant moments in Tsushima. I still feel like you can have an amazing time playing it, even though you don't know fundamentally like the ending and the story. You might know the story and the ending. You might know all those things. I still think you can enjoy it and have a great time with it. I immediately delete a game when it feels like a job. Yeah, I mean, I was posting Returnal gameplay footage because I'm enjoying Returnal and looking forward to Saros, and some guy's like, you couldn't get to the second act of Silk Song. Blah. It's like, okay, first of all, you sound like a 7-year-old. You typed that and you meant it, which is embarrassing. Second, I uninstalled it after beating one of the bosses that they nerfed. So I was beating the game and having success, but I wasn't having fun. I literally beat one of the bosses they nerfed, and I was like, I got to a new area. I got to like one of the arena fights and had to do a run back. And I was like, you know what? This is putting me in a bad mood. I don't want to play this. I'm not having fun. Like, even when I was fighting the boss and beating him, and I beat him, my mood was just sour. My son was like, why are you even playing this? Because he was like, he could just tell. He was like, you're not enjoying this. He comes down when I'm playing like Returnal or something, and then he can tell that I love the game. I was not loving that game. Like, that's the point, though. The person that left that comment, like, you play games for a very, very weird, like, identity, value, self-fulfillment thing. Like, and I don't do that because I see them as what they are. They're here to be entertaining. They're here to make me feel good. They're not here to wring me out like a rag, and then finally I can be like, yeah, I rolled credits, and I can get the approval of some faceless digital name on Twitter. Like, who gives a frick about that? Play games on your own time and play the games in the way that you want to play. You want to lower the difficulty? Do it. Do it. You want to put it down because you're not having a good time? You don't really feel like dealing with the fail rates? Do it. My advice on a game like Tsushima and Yōtei is don't feel that false sense of urgency, like I gotta jump in and play Yōtei right now and I gotta play it fast. Oh, spoilers. No. Play Tsushima. Soak it in. Do the side content. Listen to the dialogue. Look at the sunset. Like, compose your haikus. Reflect on your own life while you're playing it. And then, when you feel like you're ready, play Yōtei. And have a good time with it too. Like, I wouldn't just rush into Yōtei and skip Tsushima. That would feel like a tragedy. Lightleaf, thank you so much for 37 months. Says, I'm getting old. You are. You are. That adds to the total. Salty Buddy comes in with 19 months. Thank you so much. Also adding to the total. Thank you, boys. Boom, boom. Right there. Thanks so much for being subscribed to my my purple channel, my Twitch channel. Guys, make sure you're hitting the like button on YouTube. Thank you so much for a great turnout today. We'll be jumping into Ghost of Yotei gameplay shortly, but I wanted to give you a talk show because I know you guys like the talk show, and I like the talk show. And what the frick is this? Revenue sharing on a writer's room? I forgot about the fact that we did a segment called the writer's room. Alan Wake 2 is the type of game where you're avoiding spoilers is urgent. Then again, I played the game twice and I don't know what happens. Never mind. See details. Take action. Erase song. Mute all sound and say, I don't share my revenue with anybody. 10 seconds of our song played in your broadcast. We're going to share revenue. Yeah, you can frick all the way off. I don't care if it's 20 cents. You're not getting a dime from my channel. Stupid garbage. I go in and mute every single time. I don't give a frick. I don't care. You're not getting a penny. The game is so beautiful and great advice. Play Tsushima and take your time. Lono explaining what a hobby is in 2025. Listen to me. Listen very carefully and listen very closely. There is a crisis of identity and meaning, and people are trying to carve it out and find it in really, really unhealthy ways. It's why people get really weird and tribalistic and personal when it comes to this kind of stuff. Like, they can't even see themselves anymore. They're lost. They're lost. I mean, I'm serious. Thank you so much, Lord Horg. Let me add it to the total. There it is, 378. Thank you so much. This will sound stupid, said Zubair, but it helps me to write out a list of the games I want to get to and put them in order. It calms the monkey brain a little to see it spelled out. Well, yeah, because a lot of the times I do this with my children, and I used to do this in raids as well. So this isn't meant to be condescending. I would do this when I would do raids in Destiny, and I do it to my children as well. I think it's important. I say, don't buy into false urgency. I do it in my soccer coaching. It's like, don't buy into false urgency. You're feeling urgency. Why? Like, verbalize it. Where's the urgency coming from? What's the problem? Why are you rushing? Calm down. Take a breath. Like, I do this in soccer. All right, ball's coming. One of my guys on defense gets the ball. Defender gets the ball. Okay, and he just boots it. He boots it out of bounds, or boots it, or clears it. And I'm like, hey, whoa, whoa. I was like, there's no pressure. Don't buy into false urgency. Every time the ball comes to you, there's not urgency. Take a second. Field the ball. Look for a pass, right? If there's urgency and people are close, sure, clear it. But in a similar way with video games, like, slow down. Take a breath. There's no urgency right now. No one's pushing, pressuring, or or shoving you to this. You know? Take a breath. Take a breath and play games on your own time. Play games on your own terms. Do it. I am the happiest I have ever been in gaming right now. Happier than when I played Destiny. Happier than when I started into Variety and I didn't feel like I had enough time to play games. I've never been happier in my experience with gaming. And you know what I've done more times this year than I ever have? I put a game down if I'm not having a good time with it. I did it with Ender Lilies. I was like, no. I just went to Ender Magnolia. Loved it. I'm trying to think of some other games I put down this year. I feel like there was at least 4. There was at least 4. I can name 2 right now. I put down Ender Lilies. I put down Silk Song. I feel like there was 2 more I put down. I was just like, I don't like this. Oh, Liza P. Yeah, Liza P. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 was a tough one because I actually really, really liked it. I just couldn't get into gear with the saving thing. I couldn't do it. Yeah. Yeah, so Kingdom Come Deliverance, Liza P, Silk Song, Ender Lilies. Yeah, Mind's Eye. Mind's Eye. That's right. That's right. AC Shadows. Thank you, Trill. AC Shadows. Now, Shadows I got pretty far in, and I basically wrapped on the main story. I was basically done with the main story, and then it was time to start doing the Templar and the assassin stuff, like investigating. So I basically did finish, but that's another one where I was like, yep, I'm good. And I'm here to tell you, I have enjoyed games so much more. Grinding Returnal, waiting for Yōtei, was so much more enjoyable than like forcing something. Like, I loved Shinobi Art of Vengeance and couldn't put it down. I got 11 hours into Silk Song, and I'm like, I'm not doing this. This is just putting me into a bad mood. What me and this game are not getting along. We are not having a good time together. I'm not going to do the weird play a game from some weird allegiance urgency thing. I'm not going to do that. I'm just not. I used to do that with Destiny. Because you had to. You had to grind. Don't forget Wu Chang. Yeah, Wu Chang. Yep. Yeah. I was just like, Wu Chang it's not fun. It's a game structured around pain and tedium, and they acknowledged that in some of their patches, and they did fix some of it. Like, some of the runbacks of the bosses were just obnoxious. It was intentionally annoying, and I'm like, I don't like a game that's messing with me and trolling me. You present me with a challenge like Ishin and Sekiro, and I'll try to beat it. You want to troll me and mess with me? Oh, frick you, dude. I'll uninstall your game faster than anything. I got a bunch of other games I can play. Why am I going to do this? Why am I going to let you mess with me? So, I'm telling you, you'll enjoy games a whole lot more. You will. I recently finished Hollow Knight and I dove into Blasphemous. I wasn't really having fun with Blasphemous and quit it without guilt. Felt incredible. Moved on to Shovel Knight and was having fun again. I'm telling you, man, it is so liberating. I used to have to do that in Destiny. It was like, new content, gotta grind. New event, gotta grind. New thing, gotta grind. And one time it was like a holiday event or it was a winter event. And I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not. And I stopped. And then a couple months later, they banned me from the game because they're a scummy company that gets vindictive and manipulative. And they like to do business disruption. And they're getting everything that's coming to them. But I can't play it anymore. However, there was a time when I voluntarily was like, I'm not doing this, because that just felt freeing. It just felt freeing to be like, I'm not going to play this out of some weird compulsion or some weird unspoken requirement. I mean, baking cookies isn't real gameplay. What's a game you recommend for somebody getting back into campaigns? If you're trying to get back into campaigns, as in, like, what have you been playing a lot of, like, multiplayer games and you're thinking about getting into games where there's, like, a story, single-player campaign? Is that your question? If that's your question, I'm going to assume that's your question. That's how I'm going to answer it. And then if you change it, I'll answer that, too. But I'm going to assume that's your question. I would recommend Ghost of Tsushima. I mean it. It is wonderful. It is a wonderful story. Either that or God of War 2018. One of those, I think, would get you back in. No, not Spider-Man 2. No. He's trying to get back into campaigns. Spider-Man 2 is an open world game with it's an okay story. Spider-Man 1 story is way better. Everybody weigh in. No one's right or wrong here. I would disagree with recommending Spider-Man 2. I would really disagree with that. If you're trying to get back into campaigns like story-driven games. $2 super chat from Dr. Pimp. Wait, why'd they ban you? Because they're a toxic company, and they had a campaign against me, and like they helped cancel me in 2020, and they failed. I'm still here, and they might not be really soon. Anyway, $2 super chat from Mr. Adventure. Do you ever go to any gaming events or conventions? I used to, not really anymore. Start them off with God of War. Yeah, like if you're wanting to get back into campaigns, God of War 2018, Spider-Man 1, Ghost of Tsushima are they're wonderful games. They're so good. If you guys are looking for Ghost of Yotei gameplay, be sure to hit subscribe. I'll be switching to Ghost of Yotei gameplay when we're done with this talk show. We do a daily talk show. I didn't want to skip the talk show, so we're just hanging out. We call it a waiting room. God of War 2018 for me. I'd have to agree Spider-Man 2 kind of fell short. Yeah, I thought Spider-Man's 1 story was better. I thought Horizon's first story was better. I feel like God of War increased and got better with the story. I feel like it just got better and better and better. But I feel like Spider-Man 2's story was weaker than the first. Horizon's second story was weaker than the first. Some of that's unfair. You know, your first hit's always the strongest, so... Last of Us Part 1 remake or 2. Last of Us Part 1 remake is phenomenal. Phenomenal. That shirt looks sick. I have a shirt that looks like a Returnal shirt. It's literally an astronaut getting grabbed by tentacles. And then I realized this is kind of a Returnal shirt as well. You know? It's kind of the last boss. So I wanted to wear a Returnal shirt as I'm kind of like passing the torch from one of my favorite games to a new game that'll probably be one of my favorite games as well. I feel like I'm tired of them mixing characters just to make more money off another game. If I want to play Spider-Man, I'll play not Call of Duty Spider-Man. Huh? What do you mean Call of Duty Spider-Man? What are you talking about? Are you talking about like the skins in Call of Duty? If you enjoy the gameplay, Star Wars Outlaws story is very good. I've had people say that they've gone back to Star Wars Outlaws after all the updates, and they said that it is a lot better. But Hogwarts, I don't think you would play Hogwarts for the story. It's fine. It's fine. Red Dead 2. Yeah, but Red Dead 2, you can't really run it like a current gen console. You're going to be playing 30 FPS. Red Dead 2 is a masterpiece, but I don't know. Hogwarts is on your list. Hogwarts is really, really good, but the story just wasn't that compelling. Like, my wife kept playing, and I stopped. Something came out that I had to start playing, and I easily put Hogwarts down after, like, 42 hours or something. I loved it. I had a great time with it, but I didn't feel any desire to, like, I gotta finish this story and see what happens. Like, I saw my wife finish it while I was playing something else that came out. I can't remember what it was, because I remember Redfall came out, and I tried to play it and couldn't, because she was playing a game at 60. Something else came out around that time, and I can't remember what it was. What came out after Hogwarts that I would have been like, yeah, I've got to play this? What was that? What was that year? What games came out? I can't even remember. The shirt Lono actually needs. Oh, is that the Yōtei 6 on the front and then her on the back? Yeah, that's freaking sick. Was it Forbidden West? I think it was, wasn't it? Like, Forbidden West and Elden Ring came out, and that ate up all my time. I think that's why I put down Hogwarts. Hogwarts was pretty early in the year, wasn't it? You see the leak on Twitter, there's a new Lord of the Rings game in the works. Same style as Hogwarts. Yeah, I inject it into my veins. Yes, I will play that. That sounds wonderful. Resident Evil 4. No, it wouldn't have been Resident Evil 4 that took me away from Hogwarts. Yeah, I think it was Elden Ring and Forbidden West. Forbidden West was a year before. What the frick came out that year? Let's see. Hogwarts Legacy PlayStation Store. So what was the release date of it on PlayStation? It was February of 2023, all right? March 2023, big game releases. There was something in March, wasn't there? Resident Evil 4 Forspoken? Jedi Survivor, but I put that down quickly because I waited for them to patch it. Zelda was May. What the frick did I play? Here's the list. March was Wolong. No. None of these are the games that I played. I got to figure this out. This is going to drive me crazy. I swear I switched to something in 2023. What would I have switched to? I can't remember. I wonder, was that when I went back to Tlu and played the Part 1 remake? Maybe that's what I did. Elden Ring? No, Elden Ring was the year before. Wasn't it? It wasn't Sifu. I remember also there was a time where I really couldn't game in the evenings, so maybe this is what I was doing. There was a time where I would sit on the couch with my laptop and I would make my thumbnails and write my script and my outlines for the next day's show. I would do that on the couch. And I remember doing that when Madam was playing Hogwarts. And I wonder, this was the year I structured my schedule and made changes because I was like, I want to be able to play more games. And I feel like I just stopped playing Hogwarts because I was just busy with the schedule and work. And Madam just kept playing. And I was like, well, I can find out what happens in the story with you. Like, I had my fill. I got to like 40-something hours in Hogwarts and I was good. It wasn't FF16 because that was later in the year. I don't necessarily think I put it down for anything in particular. 2025 is the first year I made a concerted effort to say, I'm going to start playing more games and finishing more games, because what a lot of people don't realize, and not that they care, but a lot of the folks that have been critical about that, what they don't realize is that from the end of 2021 up until this year, we have been in a bit of a rebuild and a restructure, and it demanded a lot of my time, and I didn't have a lot of time to game. We were literally trying to put the business back on course. No, it wasn't Burning Shores. I did Burning Shores later. Remember, I had to level up my character and I didn't have time. I went into Burning Shores, and when I got into Burning Shores, I wasn't high enough level, and I was like, oh, I beelined the story and I'm really paying for it now. And I did Burning Shores later. My memory is you didn't really enjoy it enough to keep playing. I think I just had my fill. I got to like 40-something hours, and I was like, I had a good time with it. I was like, I'm good. And Madam kept playing. She was getting like all the pages, all the stuff, and she finished the story. So I was able to see what happened in the story. I mean, she's sitting there with a TV in my living room. I was like, that's good enough for me. I don't really feel like I need to do that. And that was also at a time where I was working in the evenings. We made that change, I think, in 2024. I was like, I can't work in the evenings anymore. I'm burning myself out. So I started ending my workday at 6 rather rigidly. And it's really helped my mental health and my work-life balance. Well, then this year I said, okay, this is something I need to commit to. I need to start finishing more games and rolling credits on more games. So at the end of the year, I can be like, hey, I played 20 to 30 something games this year. Here's my top 5. Here's my top 10. Because I think that's a fair... I don't think a lot of people that criticize me make fair criticisms, but I do think there were some people that were in here and were kind about it. And they were like, if you're always only dabbling in a game, how can you actually do a breakdown of it? How can you actually speak about it? And I was like, that's actually fair. And that's something that I was able to do with Destiny. I played Destiny so much, I was able to do breakdowns, deep dives, chop up its systems. And I want to start doing that more. I want to be in a position to like play a game and break it down. Like I'm planning on doing quite a bit with Ghost of Yotei. I want to play it. I want to really, really soak it in and record footage and analyze the story. And I'd like to do a deep dive into Yōtei the same way that I did with Tsushima. Have you played RE4 Remake? Thoughts on it if you have. Wasn't RE4 Remake the one that I realized... Yeah, that was the one that I realized I don't like survival horror games. Like, I loved RE7. I was sort of on RE8. I didn't like it as much. RE7 I thought was wonderful. I liked the RE2 remake until it flipped over into B-sides. And then RE4 remake, I didn't like it. I learned through that, and then I learned through, there was something else I was playing. The Silent Hill. The Silent Hill 2 remake. I learned through the RE4 remake and the Silent Hill 2 remake, I don't like survival horror. I just don't. It doesn't do anything for me. I just get annoyed. And if people really like them, then, was it Diablo in its betas? It could have been Diablo. I played a lot of Diablo, but I don't know. Hogwarts Legacy Review, final thoughts 2 years ago, and then we moved on from that and started playing Diablo like a week or two later, it looks like. Oh, yeah. We were also covering the Xbox Activision deal, and I was having to do research in the evenings and like read PDFs and get screenshots and stuff. I remember doing work on the couch. I remember doing that, and it was really, really tough. Guys, try to get us to 200 likes really, really quickly. We've been streaming for about an hour. It's been a great turnout. Hopefully, if you're new, you hit subscribe, and you'll stick around for the Ghost of Yotei gameplay. I'll be diving in shortly. I know people were worried about spoilers, and I didn't want to just immediately start the day in a talk show. So the turnout today has been great. I appreciate you guys, supporting the channel. A lot of you have probably found this because you were looking for gameplay. A lot of you probably found me through search results, and that's totally fine. I do a talk show like this Monday through Friday, so if you are looking for gameplay, yeah, a lot of you have found us looking for gameplay. If that's what you're looking for, I'll be doing that shortly. And I have enjoyed this conversation, a lot of back and forth, a lot of stuff going on in gaming news. Some of you were coming in, and I wasn't ignoring you. We just weren't really on that subject. Some of you were asking me about my opinion on the price increase to Game Pass. I don't have much to say on that right now. I may do a retrospective on it in the future. I know people don't like the fact that I've just decided I don't really want to talk Xbox. Like, I'm fine to talk about their games. Like, I'm looking forward to a lot of their games, like Gears of War E-Day. If Fable ever sees the light of day, I'd be happy to play that and talk about that as well. But a lot of my predictions about what was going to happen with that company have come true in the last 18 months, and it was never really enjoyable to sort of take the victory lap and to be like, I told you so, because I could have an entire playlist called that, like, I told you so, I told you this was going to happen. I just feel like that brings a really unpleasant vibe, and I just didn't feel like doing that this week with the handheld pricing. And the last time they did a price increase on their consoles, and now they're doing a price increase on Game Pass. Like, I don't mind, maybe discussing it when it's not like the main topic. Like, we were talking about it a little bit in like Morning Coffee and Green Room. I just putting that on the thumbnail and doing a show about that. I don't know. It hasn't been enjoyable. The last thing I did with them, I did like a 20-something rant on their layoffs and stuff, and it's just like, okay, yeah, things don't look good, things are bad, and I think there are a lot of people that played a part. So I don't want to make those shows or videos unless I feel like it's really, really necessary. And I know people are like, man, we'd really want to hear your take on this, and I'm like, My take is that it sucks, and it seemed like it was inevitable, and a lot of us said that, and here we are. That's pretty much it. There's not a lot to say after that. So I'd rather talk about Yōtei. I'd rather talk about all the great games this year. I'd rather talk about what's going to win Game of the Year. I'd rather be like, hey, don't play Yōtei first. Play Tsushima first. I think those are so much more enjoyable conversations and so much more fun. You've gotten compliments for not covering it. Oh, I'm getting complimented for not covering it? I'm not looking for compliments, but I appreciate if people are noticing that, like, I want the vibe to be enjoyable for everybody, and I just felt like we were getting into a rut, and it wasn't enjoyable for me, and the audience was getting kind of annoyed, and I was like, man, let's just talk games. I'm tweeting about Returnal. I'm excited about Saros. I did an opinion piece on Wolverine. Like, I would much rather do that. I want to be about that and not like, oh, I told you that this was going to happen. Like, okay, fine. There's nothing gained from that. I do have a poll on the channel. I'm actually interested in, why do you guys think for Ghost of Yotei weapons, why is dual katanas... Do you think this is because of the first trailer, or do you just generally think that, like, people think this is the vibe, like this is the way to go? I'm looking at the Odachi. I'm a little less on the Kusurigama. I didn't really like the Kusurigama in AC Shadows. Spear, the spear could be fun. I'm looking at the Odachi. But man, the dual katanas, they're running away with it. Zubair says, people are complimenting this man. We don't do that here. That's right. The cool factor. You guys think it's the cool factor? You have to let the AstroTurfers know what's up. Dunk on them. It's your redemption arc, but I get it. Peace of mind is priceless. Like with respect, I don't feel like I need a redemption arc. I just need people to come and actually engage with me and not, misrepresentations of me. That's what I've been really trying to drive people to do, is if you want to know my thoughts on something, come here and engage with me. Don't engage with misrepresentations of me. I don't need redemption from what happened in 2020, because I wasn't the person that did the wrong, right? Like, I wasn't the aggressor, no matter what they tried to say back then. So I don't need redemption from lies, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I just want to make content that I enjoy and other people enjoy. The vibe is so much better without the constant fighting and the random defenders jumping in. What's the only thing better than one katana? Two katanas, that's right. I did, in Rise of the Ronin, I did dual wield for pretty much most of the game. Then when I played Jedi Survivor, I did blaster stance and the heavy saber stance pretty much the entire game. And I don't know what I'm going to do in Yōtei, I don't know. I'm kind of curious where I'm going to land. Am I going to lean towards one or the other, or am I going to treat it like the stances in Tsushima and be on the fly adapting? I'm kind of interested in where that lands with me. Because obviously Ghost of Tsushima's gameplay highly centers around the idea of adapting on the fly. Ghost of Yotei gameplay, from what I can tell, it's present, but it doesn't seem as needed or prominent. So I'm wondering if people are going to be like, oh no, I'm a spear guy, or I'm a this person. Like, that's what I like to use. The weapons are like stances. You'll use what's best. That's what I'm thinking I'm going to end up doing, Drake. And because of my history with Ghost of Tsushima, I think I'm going to treat Ghost of Yotei the same way. I'll be interested, though. This blew my mind when we talked about Tsushima with people, and they were like, I used this the whole time. I didn't switch stances. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? What's the matter with you? Are you okay? Yeah, I was very shocked to learn that. You got Yōtei in the mail. You're at work. I need to make sure that it doesn't get put on my porch, because I think my family is going to go out and do stuff today. Yeah, they're already gone. Hang on. I need to pull up and see. I need the tracking. I need the tracking on it. Because they'll just put that sucker right on the porch. Let's see. Your order has been shipped. Click here to track the ship. It says delivered. Shoot. Do you guys want to do an unboxing? It might be on my porch right now. I'll be right back. It was on the porch. My family must have left before it got delivered. Because usually when something like that gets delivered, they'll bring it in for me. So there it is. Listen, I said I was going to take a break. All right. I said I was going to take a break from getting stuff like this, but I couldn't resist this one. I also think I ordered this. Just wait before you start judging. I think I ordered this. You're judging. I can feel it. I ordered this before I said that. So I get a pass on this one. Okay. And it's Ghost. So anyway. All right. Ooh, look at that. It's like a wood box. I don't want to rip it. See it? Like, I always feel like if you shove your hands in there, pause. I always feel like if you shove your hands in there, you're going to rip the box. We judged. I literally can't get it out. It's like suctioned in there. I've done this before, and I rip the box every single time. Come on. It won't slide out. I don't want to rip the box. Maybe. Hang on. Obligatory, we were on a break. I got it. It slid out. Whew. There. It's literally a wood box. Open the bottom. I was getting ready to do that. I was getting ready to open the bottom to like get rid of the suction effect, and I kind of pulled it apart and just pushed a little bit, and that did it. That's what she said. Yeah. Okay, so that's your lid. All right. That didn't happen. Okay. All that effort. All that effort. All that effort's to protect the box. And down it goes. Okay, so we got this one. I don't want to ruin the box. And down it goes. Okay, so we've got the sword hilt. The sword hilt. It's like actually metal. The little stand to put it on. All right. We've got... Oh, I think they even have... Do they have the rules on how to play? Yeah. Zeni Hajiki is a game in it's a mini game in the game with like the they're in here. And they've got the rules. Sword sold separately. Yeah, where's the sword? I love the mini game. Yeah, so it's got these coins inside to play the game. Very cool. Okay. If you guys are just tuning in, we're doing a Ghost of Yotei Collector's Edition unboxing. Yeah, I like that. That's really high quality. Sometimes they ship stuff and then like everything that they ship it in is kind of like low quality. Okay, so we've got the stand for the mask. I think that's how it goes. Okay, so this, on a scale of like 1 to 10, feeling like a real like quality like piece, this feels really, really good. Like it's got weight to it. It feels like a quality piece. Like it doesn't feel like cheap plastic. It feels like almost ceramic. There's the stand. There you go. Oh, this is the box that it came in. And then I've got Collector's Edition content, full game download. All right, so here's the deal. I didn't know when this was going to show up today. Okay? So I will do a giveaway. I'll do a giveaway because I don't need this. I wasn't sure, like, if this showed up later today, I was like, I'd have been busted. It's like, I need to be able to play in the middle of the day. So, keep it here. We'll figure out a way to do a giveaway. I don't like doing giveaways, but... Okay. Open the box and say, so what shelf is this going to be going on? Listen. I've got to get that video changer. And then we'll have a place to put it. I'll have the camera angle. You know. Okay, if you're just tuning in for Ghost of Yotei gameplay, we'll be getting into that in a little bit here. I just unboxed the Ghost of Yotei Collector's Edition. I do have a Collector's Edition to give away. It's a code for the game and the bonus content, like the game, the horse, the outfit, the sword, all that. We'll be doing that later whenever I'm doing the gameplay. Maybe we'll do that like the end of the gameplay or something. Yeah. And then I can just, DM you the code in the Discord or whatever. So thank you guys so much for being here. Try to get us to 200 likes if you haven't done so already. The goal over here is 500 members on the week. Both Twitch and YouTube can contribute to that. And somebody sent a tip, $2. Why IGN clowning on PlayStation while there's bad press for Xbox? Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to feel like it is weird that they have like a negative piece about PlayStation stories when, Yotei's getting really, really high degrees of praise. And, yeah. Should just be a gameplay channel? What do you mean? I'm not known for gameplay. I mean, if you're talking about me, I'm primarily known for talk show. I don't know. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Pac-Man with a 34-month renewal. Yo, Lono, you're dope and deserve dope stuff. Now put the mask on your face. I don't think you're supposed to do that. It's too big. Pause. Look, it's enormous. I have a gigantic head, and this is too big for my head. I got a big noggin, y'all. You know what I mean? I actually only subscribe for your high-octane gameplay. That's good. That's good. Lono lies. He has a tiny shrunken head. No, I have a large noggin. Orbit guy known for gameplay? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Anyways. You see the Xbox page glitched out because everyone was canceling? Yeah, I saw that. I canceled mine this morning. I was keeping it at the $20 because my daughter was using it pretty frequently. But for $30, I was like, I'm out. They, that's what you're supposed to do, right, as a consumer. I was like, yep, I'm done. I'm not doing this. That's too expensive, especially as infrequently as it gets used now. She's doing a lot of Fortnite, and yeah. So make sure you guys are smashing the like button, renewing your members, gifting members, all the things. We're very, very close. Anybody can play a game. Only Lono can yap like Lono. Yes, yeah, I'm a professional yapper. You would rather have the $30 than have that service. That's how it works. Yeah. Yeah, I just don't. I don't even think we were using it enough to justify the 20. It was just one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's $20. She installs the games every now and again to try them out. We'll keep it. At 30, I was like, every 2 months, that's basically the cost of a brand new game. I was like, I know for a fact I'm not using it enough to justify that. That's just too expensive. That just seems like a waste of money. I didn't cancel all the way, but I did drop from Ultimate down to Basic. The Basic 10 per month tier. I didn't want to give them any more money. I was kind of like, yeah, I'm over it. I'm over the whole thing. I got a bunch of 3M cards from GameStop. 20 for 20. So wait, Oh, that's right. People were doing that. They were like buying the cards. And Haseo, I know what Haseo's doing. Boom. He does a single. He's wanting somebody to drop the 20 bomb. Right now, 400 is the next milestone, and then I will owe you guys a gifted member. Whoever hits it gets it. So Twitch, you could do it. YouTube, you could do it. We haven't had a 20 bomb yet today. You could be the first. You gift 20 members, and I pay it forward to another person as well. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Haseo, for doing that. I hope they lose 10 million subs. I don't think they're going to lose that many. I think they'll lose some, but I don't think they're going to lose that many. 10 million is an awful lot. I imagine they'll lose, I don't know, maybe a mil. Maybe 1 to 2. I think most people are just going to not even know it, ignore it, or just let it ride. I don't know. Just went to work and got to play a bit before work. I can't wait to get back home. Context: I got the Dual Katana Master in some side quests. Nice. Eugene says over 20 is where you are forced to make a conscious decision. That's also a point where you will think you have to extract value. They cross the Rubicon with that price point. Yeah. 3 or 4 million wouldn't surprise you, Eugene? You know, at a time where we keep getting emails that everything's going up, you know, it's you're just, every subscription's doing it. I could see people getting kind of fed up. I know people have done that with, like, you know, Disney and stuff. They're like, oh, that's enough of that, and then they just cancel because it's just getting too expensive. You know, it's better to kind of float around and, like, use a subservice, watch all their shows and movies, and, like, move on to another one. I totally get why people would do that. It makes more sense than having them all. So they need to release 6 bangers a year at 30. It'll go up again. It'll probably go up again, 187. I mean, there were rumors that, like, PC Game Pass was going away. I thought that was kind of bizarre because they felt like that was their biggest opportunity for growth. So I was kind of surprised when I saw that rumor. So we'll see. You know, I'm seeing people saying that there's more bad news coming. I don't know what it could be. So Eugene said what I said with more words and more better. Yeah, that's a whole nother situation, prisoner. Yo. Thank you so much, Devil Inside, for 8 months of members. Being with me for that long over here on Purple. Thanks for using your Primes. Guys, always check your Primes. If you're paying for Amazon Prime, you got to manually do that every single month. And thank you for doing that. Let me go ahead and get this thing scheduled. You think they'll backtrack? Oh, I don't think they'll backtrack. No. Yeah, I saw people saying that they thought they were going to backtrack, and I'm like, I don't think so. I think this is, to quote the Joker, this is all part of the plan. It's all part of the plan. I think they are they're executing plans that were put into place a while ago. I could be wrong. That's just my opinion. I do, though. I think it's part of the plan. I think it's something that they're gonna. They've probably got a lot more things planned as well, and we'll have to kind of like wait and see what those are. But I don't think this is the last time they'll make a significant change. Okay. All right, there we go. I got the gameplay scheduled. We'll go in about 30 minutes. This has been enjoyable. I think we might use this format going forward if we're going to get the results that we got today, where a good number of you tuned in. We've had great conversations. We've got new subscribers. This to me was a good experiment, because I know just jumping right into gameplay for a lot of people feels like you're getting cold water thrown on your face. It's like, what the huh? It doesn't, it's just not conducive, I don't feel like, to sort of the normal flow for our day. So I appreciate you guys hanging out and being here. This has been fun, and we can keep going. We're not switching gears just yet. We can keep talking, keep discussing. Haseo says, can someone please drive this to 400? Just 900 subs. Now hit the road to hit 100 subs to get my first 100, the first 1K. Random, okay. What did Lone Wolf say? Day and date is going to be 30. Yes. Yeah, we had discussions about that a long time ago, and that was something that I had said I thought was going to happen, that they were going to move and make day and date more expensive. So, hang on, I got a text from my wife. Want it for the bedroom. What the heck? LOL, no. It's this ugly sculpture. Yeah, Hell Reaper looks pretty cool. Yeah. Almost like they want game sales, is why I wrote. Yeah. Microsoft is, I think Microsoft's in charge. That's it. I think they're in charge. I think it's a big shift for them. So, yeah, Hell Reaper is a brand new side scroller that was just announced. You can wish list. It looks pretty cool. It looks kind of like Salt and Sanctuary, a little bit of influence from like maybe Ori and Hollow Knight in the art style. Like it's got like more of a vibrancy to the lighting and stuff. It looks pretty good. Your self-control is admirable. I'm ready to ditch work and play Yōtei, and here you are putting on the show first. Well, I don't say this in like a manipulative way. Like, I'm not saying this, you guys are like, oh, he's so nice to us. But like, I do put the audience first when I think it makes sense. And there's a lot of you that would have been like, oh, bummer, he just jumped right into gameplay, no talk show. And you're the reason I get to do this full time. And you're gifting members or paying members or your daily lurkers. And I was like, I can give them 2 hours. What's 2 hours in the grand scheme of things? Like, I can give you, hour and a half to 2 hour long show, and then I can play. I'm being the thing that I recommended earlier. Like, I'm not buying into like urgency. It's like, the game's not going anywhere. It's not like if I don't play immediately, something bad's gonna happen. Those 2 hours won't make much of a difference next week when I'm 20 hours into the game, I think, but I want the audience to know that I really prioritize the talk show and giving you guys your entertainment for the day that you've decided to support all these years. Will I be hitting the buttons and dipping? Oh, no, I know a lot of people do that, Sven. I know. You won't put it down. It's amazing. I'm well aware. That's why I was grinding Returnal like a madman up until the release, because I knew as soon as Yōtei came out, I'm like, I'm not going to touch anything else. I mean, other than maybe Borderlands with my wife, because I don't want to finish. I don't want to put that game down. We were having a good time with it. That's why you go. Well, I appreciate that. Like, if you guys appreciate the fact that I did do a talk show today before we jump into Ghost of Yotei gameplay, which we will do in about 30 minutes, do me a favor and hit the like button. Check your memberships. Help us hit the goal. Remember, there's always the stretch goal for community game night. There's also the stretch goal for the Returnal challenge. So thank you guys so much for continuing to come in. If you're new and you're looking for Ghost of Yotei gameplay, hit subscribe, hit the bell button, stick around. We'll be jumping in a little bit. I'm always lurking while I work. Thank you, Thor. Appreciate that. I appreciate that because I cannot watch Yōtei gameplay today for obvious reasons. Yeah, for sure. I don't want anybody to feel that, that turmoil of like, well, I want to support Lono, but I don't want spoilers. You need to do what's best for your own experience. You don't need to worry about my stream. So hits the invisible Twitch like button. That's right. Thank you, Buckeye Plays, for hitting that invisible button. Oh no, we've been sub only for a while over here. That's my bad on the chat. Good morning on this grand Yōtei day. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. The real question is if the 1690 will beat the Yōtei port. Huh? 20 was Limbo for Microsoft. Oh, you guys are still talking about the price thing. Yeah, I've given you guys very brief comments on it. I don't really feel like batting that ball around. You know, it just doesn't, I don't think it's that interesting of a discussion, if I'm honest. Like, I'm not telling you guys, you know, to not be interested in it. I personally just don't find it all that interesting. An 8K DualSense does a 10 bomb for YouTube. Boom, just like that. Look at that. Look, somebody tag team with him. Another 10 bomb will put us past 400. I'll owe you guys a member. Somebody help this man out. He's been doing the member bombs today all by his lonesome. Let me pause the thing that nobody likes over there on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for being here. Stop being a grown-up and play the dang game. I feel like a vocal tone in that, you know? Stop being a grown-up and play the dang game. That's good. That's good, man. What the frick, man? You gotta wait 30 more minutes. Here, let's do this. Let's get that off the screen. Let's get this on the screen. Let's do this. Okay, so today at hang on. Today at 12:30, set start. There you go. There you go. Hang on. There you go. Ghost of Yotei gameplay. There you go. There's your countdown. Sidebar, but could we take a second to appreciate how many incredible games have come out this year? All the multi-plat games that have been great, plus the amazing first party. Good time for games. It is a stacked year. Very much so. I'm missing out. I ran out of my sub. And Joker is going to poke the line with a single. Thank you, boys, so much. I'll tell you what. I'll make you guys a deal. I'll make you a deal. We're 108 away from the goal. If we can get to the goal before gameplay, because we all know once we're in gameplay, everything comes to a screeching halt. Let's secure the goal before tomorrow. If we get to the goal before gameplay, I'll do 10 on each platform. Okay, I usually I owe you guys like 1 every 25 or whatever. Let's go. Let's have a bit of a tear here. Let's have a bit of a run. I'll add some motivation and some skin in the game here. Let's introduce some people to our community and how generous we are. I'm excited for Yōtei. I love Tsushima, and I love the previews that they've shown the last few months. It's cool to see her career grow outside of the D&D and the dropout stuff. I'm not really familiar with her. I don't really care about that, honestly. I'm more interested in the game. And the reviews were great. Now that gamers are getting their hand on it, it's like, oh man, the praise is up there. People are really, really liking it. The thing that's impressed me the most with Ghost of Yotei is how people are talking about it looks better than they even expected. And if you look at the PlayStation Store, the score from the users is frickin' bonkers. It's bonkers. It's got a 4.9 at almost 5,000 reviews. It has an almost perfect score. Like, that's insane to me. And a 5 bomb comes in from James MC. He's like, let's do this, boys. Many hands make light work. You only need like 20 folks to do that, right? You go on a little train of 5 bombs. We'll hit the goal early. And then each platform, I'll gift 10 folks on each. I only 100% a game. I can't do that with every game. I mean, I go for like the completion of the campaign, but I can't do like the platinum, like every trophy thing. That's just, I can't do it. It doesn't, I don't know. The most I've ever grinded a game recently was the one I've been doing with Returnal. Haseo is going to gift a single, and he's going to nudge the line closer to 400. Thank you so much, Haseo. I have about 30% left at Tsushima, but I'm going to go ahead and jump into Yōtei. I've decided I'm going to go for the plat for Tsushima. I can see circling back. I see what Hasayo's doing. He's going to land the plane. Boom. He's going to land the plane perfectly on 400. Thank you so much, Hasayo, for doing that. I will owe one platform a single when we hit the milestone. If you guys can hit 500 before we go to gameplay, you have 26 minutes to do it. We will we'll be celebrating with some gifts. Then Joker Quinn steals it, and he makes Hasayo the Agent of Chaos with another single coming in, and we're now at 401. You are extremely rude, Joker Quinn. You are extremely rude. He couldn't even let Hasayo enjoy like a moment of victory. That's ridiculous, bro. If you feel like there has been a little bit of a delay today in my responses, we are running normal latency. And I haven't had a single complaint today about any of the weirdness on the platform. I feel like the low latency was causing issues again. So we're going to try normal latency for a little while on YouTube and see if it doesn't smooth out the experience for folks. Because I feel like it was really hurting us. Like, people are like, oh, I'm getting these weird blips and stutters and buffers or whatever. And they're like, I'm not getting that on any other channel, on any other live stream. And I'm like, well, that's a problem. And I wonder if it's related to that. Joker Quinn says, it's been a while since I ruined something. It feels good. There you go. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh, yeah, you haven't been able to, like, mess up Stonespire. Purple was fine. Yeah, we would always get the complaints over there on YouTube. So I was like, yeah, maybe it's the latency thing. It's a setting on the individual stream on YouTube that I set. I'm wondering if that setting was just causing issues again. Back in the day, people were like, I watch tons of live streams on YouTube. Yours is the only one that gives me trouble. And I'm like, I bet you most people just pick normal latency because it's the default setting. I'm bumping it to like a faster latency, and that's known to cause issues. So, Joker here for the chaos. That's right. What's good, Rapper? How are you? You think they'll add Legends to Yōtei later on? I don't think that they will. I know that they will because they actually officially announced it. You might have missed that, Prisoner. They officially announced there's a trailer. That was like a couple of weeks ago. So, yeah, I don't think we have a date yet. So the Legends trailer hit. When did they announce that? It was a while ago, wasn't it? Wasn't it like 2 weeks? Ghost of Yotei Legends trailer. When did they announce that? Was it the... I think it was like a week or two ago. I was trying to find you the trailer. Did they bake it into another trailer? It'll come early next year. I forget. Was it the launch trailer? No. They tacked it on to something, didn't they? Yeah. Here it is. Yeah, they tacked it on to the Song of Vengeance trailer. There you go. Ghost of Yotei Legends. Yeah, that's next year. It's free DLC for Ghost of Yotei orders. There you go. So it'll be free sometime next year. Yeah, it's hard to find a trailer. There's not a specific trailer for it. They tacked it on to the end of that Song of Vengeance trailer that I think that hit during Tokyo Game Show, didn't it? I feel like that's when it hit. But or maybe it was Gamescom. Yeah. Either way, it doesn't matter when or at what event. Yeah, they officially announced it. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see if maybe we could do some fun, co-op gameplay sessions, with Madam and I for you guys when that comes out. I don't think we did that with Tsushima because back whenever we were doing that with Tsushima, I did those gameplay sessions with Hilly, and that was a really fun time. But that was when I was doing those streams with him instead. Legends was amazing. It was a really cool idea, and it was certainly cool that they they did it for free. I thought that was a very cool thing that they decided to do. So I thought it would have been neat this time around if Legends also included like a companion to just roam around with you. There was rumors that they were going to do co-op or something for AC Shadows, and I really liked the idea of that. I was like, oh, that'd be so cool if they did that. It might bring me back to AC Shadows. If I could play it with Madam. It would be really cool if they did that with Yōtei. I just don't know how it would work. You'd almost have to make it mythical and be like, yeah, this person can kind of come in and be another ghost. Be like another ghost with you or something. Legends had solo missions too. Ghost of Yotei Legends will include 2-player story missions, 4-player survival matches, play as one of 4 character classes, giant versions of the Yōtei 6. Oh, so there will be two-player story missions. Thank you, Wolf Saints. Yeah, I mean, that's a great start. It just makes me feel like, man, wouldn't it be cool if you could play through the whole game like that, Gene Park is saying that he agrees with the IGN piece for thinking Tsushima was a more fresh story than Yōtei, but I overall agree that there are a lot of stories about the cycle of violence. Even Miles Morales had a revenge arc in Spider-Man 2. Yeah, again, I fundamentally think that the games they're using as an example, The Last of Us Part 2, Ragnarok, and Death Stranding 2, which is in the description of the video, I think they argue rather poorly. And who wrote it? Who wrote the opinion piece? I feel like I've enjoyed Simon's work prior to now. I'm trying to think of things he's written. I feel like I've seen his name, Simon Cardy from IGN. I feel like I've enjoyed his stuff. This feels very, I don't know, feels very rage baity, clickbaity to be like, oh yeah, all PlayStation stories are the same. I'm like, I just think that's, I don't know, that's leaning into a trope and like a pejorative that's lobbied by people that don't even play the dadgum games, Yo, what's good, Stone Spire? The mask is sick. You need to keep that on camera on streams. Yeah, man, I unboxed it. Yeah. We do have a gauntlet right now. In 18 minutes, I'm playing gameplay, okay? If in the next 18 minutes you guys secure the 500 member goal, I'm dropping a 10 bomb on each platform. It doesn't matter who gets us there. It doesn't matter who hits it, all right? Because 500's for the week. Let's go into tomorrow with the goal already secured, and I'll be gifting it back and paying it forward. But you guys are gonna have to ramp it up. You got 18 minutes. They make what their fans want. Here's the thing, okay? Even if you go to Uncharted 4, and you're like, oh, it's more of an adventure. There's a lot of elements in Uncharted 4 that have to do with like family and betrayal and revenge and like, you know what I'm saying? Because the article acted like, well, yeah, we need to go back to the time where we had like adventure stories like Uncharted. Well, you could rather simplistically act like Uncharted is a similar story simply by pulling out those elements of the story and acting like that's what the stories are, right? Where's Mash when you need him? I don't have any way of contacting him. He shouldn't feel like he can't come around anymore. I don't care what currency you use. We made adjustments to fix it so it wasn't harmful to me. Nobody was doing it on purpose. Maybe there was 1 or 2 people that were, but he doesn't need to feel like, oh, I can't go back there or whatever. He was still a champion, and his support was still unrivaled, regardless of what currency you're using. That was still a choice to support, Is it possible to show off the different graphical modes and settings today so we can see the difference? Yeah, I could get to a point where we do that because we could timestamp it and say, you know, here's just a good comparison of the modes or whatever. What happened with MASH? I must not have been here. I was unaware of a thing that when you gift members with a non-US currency, I get really shorted on the conversion, and I didn't know that. And so when I was gifting 5 every 25, it was actually hurting me. I was losing in the deal, and I couldn't figure out why we were having such a hard time, you know. And I was like, what's going on? The money doesn't seem right. And I wasn't looking at the money. You're not supposed to do that. Like, it'll make you obsess over it. And I wasn't doing that. I was ignoring it. And I ignored it and didn't realize that, like, something was amiss. We had way more members than we had ever had. And I was, like, losing. We made adjustments, but in making those adjustments, we learned that some of the bigger gifting came from that. And I don't care. That doesn't matter to me. I'm not concerned with what currency you use. It was still an immense amount of support. I had to make adjustments, and I do now 1 gifted every 25 as a way to protect me so that I'm not overextending myself. It immediately helped, and it course corrected, and everything's fine now. So there's nobody needs to be like, oh, well, if I'm using my country's currency, that's not your concern. That doesn't need to be something that you're concerned about. Digital Foundry didn't say it, but RTX mode 60 is actually lower res than performance mode. I'm pretty sure they did talk about that in the video. I thought they talked about what it targets, but they said that the PSSR makes up the difference, and they highlighted where some of the areas PSSR added some noise, but other areas PSSR was doing better, and the day 1 patch is supposed to address a lot of that. So that's literally in the section that we watched on the channel, and John Linneman went into the details of how it worked. Yeah, it's upscaled like that. He goes into those details. Like that's the assumption anytime you're talking about those things, especially if he's invoking PSSR and then breaking down like the quality of PSSR. So, all right, guys, 14 minutes. 14 minutes. RT Pro mode's the way to go. Yeah, that was what John Linneman recommended. Yeah. I missed the unboxing. You did miss the unboxing. It came with the sword hilt. Yeah, and a little stand to put it on. It came with the game that you play with the coins and instructions on how to play it. We will be doing a giveaway. I have the collector's edition and all of the stuff. I wasn't sure when this was going to show up. Like, if it was on my porch in the evening, I couldn't stream the game, right? So I bought the collector's edition or digital deluxe edition or whatever on my PlayStation 5. So this is now going to be given away to somebody. So that is what we're going to be doing. I typically don't do giveaways, but I figured we could do one for this since it's a big game and I got an extra one. I'm at 134 hours in Returnal. So 4 new notifications. Fortnite updated, Rematch updated, Metal Eden updated. Oh, was there a new Borderlands update? Yeah, there was a Borderlands update. Do we know what they did? I don't think I saw that. Oh, that's right. It's buffs to the one Vault Hunter. Lono, dang you. I own the game, but I can't play for 2 more hours with work. Gonna watch your gameplay. Well, I appreciate that. That's very kind. And here comes Behemoth. Boom. Drops a 10 bomb and gets us to 411. Boys, I threw down a gauntlet. If in the next 12 minutes you hit the goal of 500, I'm going to do a 10 bomb on each platform. So you can rally right now. Your gifteds, your primes, your renewals. Hey, upgrade. If you upgrade to Member Plus on YouTube, it counts as a double. Did they fix the saves? I have no idea, FCAT. The hilt is the entire handle assembly of the sword, including the guard, grip, and pommel, while the guard is a component of the hilt. Oh my gosh. What is this called then? I'm getting actually'd in the freaking Discord. It's the guard, not the hilt. That's the guard. Okay, sorry. Listen, you know, don't send those sword guys on me. All right, from YouTube. They're you know, what's his name? Don't send Shadiversity at me. Sorry, it's not the hilt. It's the guard. Amon got buffs. Yeah. 80JC with the VIP bumps the line to 412. Every little bit helps. Thank you, 80JC. Thanks for 49 months as well, sir. I appreciate that. Guys, VIP is kind of worth it on those community game nights, right? It's kind of worth it. You guys get in first when we do Jackbox. You guys get the code first. So, well worth that upgrade. Thank you. This is what life has become, posting AI summaries. Yes, it has. This is it. This is where we live now. Hopefully more performance tuning. Yeah, the last time my wife and I were playing, not last night, but the night before. Yōtei Gaming's going to drop 8 months. Let's get some content, JK. Yeah, if you guys hit the $, boom, you might have a membership to celebrate. You got 10 minutes. 10 minutes. We'll see if any of the big boys save your bacon and help us hit the goal early. I'm going to bless 10 people on each platform. And then we're jumping into some gameplay, and I can't wait. It's been really hard not to just jump in and play. Everybody's playing. Everybody's tweeting about playing. Everybody's, posting their clips and their screenshots. Want to try out the new Call of Duty beta, but fact that they want you to pay $30 a month. They did this, I just now realized, didn't they do this last year? Didn't they bump Game Pass right before Call of Duty because they know people are going to sign up for day and date for Call of Duty? I'm pretty sure they did this last year, didn't they? I feel like the timing was the exact same. It's like they knew there was going to be an influx of people signing up brand new for day and date for Call of Duty specifically, and they're like, "We'll do the price bump before that." Yeah, I don't think Microsoft is really keen on the idea. I'm not talking about Xbox. I'm talking about Microsoft. I don't think they're keen on the idea of Call of Duty being on there. Yo, that's a big one, and a 10 bomb comes in on purple from Silent Gundam. Boom. And then a single comes in from Stone Spire on YouTube. Boom. We're one away from 425. You guys have 9 minutes to get 75. You can do it. A bunch of 5 bombs will add up quick. Many hands make light work. And there it is. Stone Spire lands the 425 all by himself. It's peak. It's better in every way. The day one patch changed the graphics. It's beautiful. I can't wait. I'm so excited. We got 8.5 minutes and I'm jumping in, boys. 8.5 minutes and I'm jumping in. Thank you guys for hitting like as well. If you haven't hit the like button yet, try to get us to 300 likes. This has been a great stream and a great waiting room. I work overnight security at a pet shop. Oh, at a pot shop, sorry. I absolutely have played a few hours already. And Joker Quinn is going to be true to his name, Agent of Chaos, and he's going to push us one past. Thank you so much. 74 in 8 minutes. It can be done. Respect Tolono for avoiding the Game Pass debacle. It would have turned today into a show. Yeah, I've given very brief remarks, and I just don't. Yeah. The handheld price, the increase in console price, I've just avoided a lot of that stuff. It's not super fun to cover. I'd rather talk about games. I heard security at a pet shop, and I was about to change careers. Overnight security at a pot shop. So, like, the selling of pots and pottery, or they literally sell pot? Like, is it like a dispensary, like weed? Like, if you're saying pot and you're referring to marijuana, you're OG. Like, people probably call you Unc. Like, you're easily 40 or 50 years old, somewhere in there. You're calling it pot. Homie calling it pot, bro. You know what I'm saying? Miss you, brother. Hope you're doing good. Happy Thursday. Yo, it's good, J-Tag. How are you? Thank you for saying that. Scary Harry had to follow over here on Twitch just to laugh at that joke. Thank you. It's a pot shop. They make the pots in the shapes of people's pets. It's a pet pot shop. Ooh. That's not bad. That's not bad. That's not bad. Scary Harry says, I did. Yeah. He's like, that's too funny. The most budget-friendly way to play Xbox games are now on the Sony platform. Oh, yeah, come on. We're not doing that. We're not doing the console thing. Come on. Play where you think it's the best. If you feel like you got to cancel. You know. If you call it pot, you're either OG or a snitch, I promise. Billy was smoking pot. Yeah, dude. Total snitch, yeah. We'd call it pot. Yeah. No, not reefer. A snitch wouldn't call it reefer. No. Reefer's like, you're not even OG. You're from like Woodstock era. If you're calling it like reefer, man, like you're from before my time if you're calling a reefer. I learned it from watching you, okay? What was that? Yeah, where the dad's like that I can hear the commercial, Zoom. I can hear the commercial. I learned it by watching you. The frickin' anti-drug campaigns. Oh my gosh, they were so bad. If you're calling it reefer, then you were there when it was invented. That's what I'm saying. Look at Lono stepping away from the console wars. I like it, but I wouldn't be so kind on petty. Oh, make no mistake. This is not kindness. It's for my own sanity. I don't have any desire to be kind to those people. Brother. My hand's itching to grab the bat. It is not kindness. I'm doing it for me, not for them. Hey, there's a hype train on purple. You guys got 4 minutes. 4 minutes to get 74 members. You can do it. I believe in you. I'm going to do a 10 bomb to each platform. If we can hit 500 before we switch to gameplay, you got 4 minutes to do it, and there's a hype train on Twitch. This is the time. Everybody throw in. Check your primes. Check your resubs. You can do this. I believe in you. It's perfect. There's 4 minutes on this, and there's 4 minutes on the hype train on purple. Rapper's like, let's get to 300 likes. Yeah, the like count stalled out. I wasn't really bringing it up. We need to get that like count up, too. That like count's hurting. What about the Who Broke My Window ad? I don't remember that one. Who Broke My Window? Yeah, I don't remember this one. Yeah, I remember the Chia. Chia. And they would do like the time lapse. Oh, all the kids are running. Oh, man, they really wrecked his window, too. I don't want to get a copyright strike, so I'm not going to show it. Oh, it's the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints commercial. What is it about, like, being honest, you know? Telling the truth? Oh, my gosh. What were the one creepy ads that, like, I remember when I saw them, I remember as a kid being like, that's a little heavy-handed, you know? Hey, there it is. The hype train rolled over thanks to Ultima Omnislash. Says, Yōtei Day, baby, 14 months. Boom, 427. You guys can do it. You just completed level 3 of the hype train. We need 73 in 2 minutes. It's probably not going to happen. It's probably not going to happen. I'll give you guys the 2 minutes, and then I'm going to need a restroom break. Well, the hype train now has 4 minutes, so you guys just extended the hype train over there on purple. Look who the actor is. Who is the actor? I couldn't see. The quality of the video was really, really bad for the Who Broke My Window ad. It was super, super hard to see. Well, the channel definitely got to leave. I totally understand. I totally get why you have to leave when the gameplay starts. I don't hold that against you at all. I mean, I do secretly, but publicly I have to say that I don't hold it against you. Secretly, I hate you and want to... No, I'm just kidding. Not all the commercials that were wild cooking products that made it look like white people were terrible in the kitchen, like the handheld egg cracker. Oh, yeah. I cannot imagine, like, being a young child during that era of time and being like, are white people okay? Like... The heavy-handed commercials, though, that were like, it's 7 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? I remember as a kid being like, wow, that's a little heavy to just be like, do you know where your kids are? What if they're dead or kidnapped or doing drugs? It was like, wow, this is a heavy commercial. Do you know where your kids are? Golly. What if someone was like, no, I don't. And we can't find them. You know, that commercial would hit different if you were having an actual problem. The guilt you would feel, you know, like, I lost him. I lost him in the supermarket. Boomer parents didn't know where we were. It's kind of true. I mean, it is kind of true. My mom was from that generation of like, go outside. Like, if you were driving your parents crazy, all right, time's up. Time's up. If you were driving your parents crazy, man, they would just send you outside. And listen, they'll never admit it, but I think some of the times that was laced with hope that, like, you're gonna get snatched up. They were just so sick of you. They're like, you know what? I'm gonna roll the dice. Okay, you just go outside. If it happens, it happens. I'm sick of you, and I'm sick of this. I mean, they didn't really want it to happen, but in the moment, I think there was a bit of like if it happens, it happens. You know? Do with that what you will. I mean, that might make Thanksgiving a little awkward this year. But like, hey, Mom, can I ask you something? All those times you would make me go outside and the sun was going down, like, was there a part of you that hoped, you know, someone's going to snatch me up? What? If that's how your mom responds, then she was kind of hoping, low key, little bit. You know, if there's a lot of blustering and a lot of what? Like, then yeah. If she hits you and says, quit talking crazy, also probably yes, depending on your cultural background and your mom. If she gives you a little smack and she says, quit talking crazy, she probably also did. If she starts crying, then she probably also did, and you're making her feel terrible about it. But we need to go to gameplay. Okay, I'm going to be right back. I appreciate you guys so much supporting the channel and being here and watching and gifting, and we're well on our way to hitting the weekly goal. Let me, I'm going to take a brief break, though. I don't want to have to take a break once I'm in the gameplay, all right? I need to use the restroom. And so do you. You know, you need to stretch your legs, and you need to... everybody needs to take a tinkle before we get started, all right? I'm not turning the car around once I'm in, okay? And the hype train came to a resounding close over here. I've unlocked all the emotes. Okay. All right. I'm a grown man. You don't tell me when to tinkle. They knew you were so misbehaving, the kidnapper would bring you back in 5 minutes. That's right. Well, no, I can't stretch something I don't have. Well, you know, Talika, do what the rest of us do. You know, pretend. Do what the rest of us do. Okay. All right, I'll be right back. And then we're jumping into gameplay, okay? I know a lot of you don't want spoilers. If you can stick around for 5 minutes of the gameplay, 10 minutes, turn the sound off, hit the like or whatever. It'll help. It'll help pull some folks in. It'll help us get discovered on the platform. All right, I'll be right back. Okay. All right, I'm back. Let's get at this. Let's get this. Okay. We need to do... Do we have a giveaway command in either channel? If we do, I need to edit it, or I can add a new one. Oh, the Baby Yoda song is playing. This is another one of my daughter's originals. She wrote the lyrics to this. Okay, here we go. Add, whoops, wrong keyboard. Add com giveaway. Lono is giving away a collector's edition code for Ghost of Yotei. Keep watching for a chance to win. Okay, there we go. All right, let me send a tweet. Double giveaway. Yeah, I have an extra one because I had to get the game installed on my PlayStation, so I couldn't rely on the shipment of the collector's edition to to play the game, if that makes sense. So I basically now have an extra copy that I can't do anything with. This is your first time playing? I haven't touched the game. Yes, this is my first time playing. I haven't even loaded up the game to look at like the menu. All right, you guys on YouTube, I'll provide you with the link. I was like, what is that sound? My Okay. I still have the goal beneath me. Okay. All right. Oh, I've got the following items. Looks good to me. Medium difficulty, good for me. English dialogue with no subtitles. English dialogue with English subtitles. Japanese dialogue with English subtitles. Yeah, we want Japanese dialogue. Okay. Oh, they're jumping right in. Okay, yeah, I didn't realize they were going to do that. Okay, hang on. I don't like when games do that. All right, give me 1 second here. Normal latency. Okay, let me give you guys the link. Is that the right link? Hang on. I've been copying a lot of different things. Okay, yeah, that's the correct link. All right, YouTube, do me a favor. Smash the like button on this video as we end it, and then smash the like button on the new one, okay? Here we go. Thank you so much for checking out this video. If you are watching this video later, this is the first time ever I'm diving in to Ghost of Yotei gameplay on the PS5 Pro. It launched right in, so I haven't had a chance to mess with anything. Settings, invert my camera. We will be checking out the PS5 Pro ray tracing performance mode. So thank you guys so much for watching this. If you're watching this later, hit the like button. Consider becoming a member. I am a fan-funded channel, so if you like my breakdown, my gameplay, my talk shows that I do keep it safe for work. Be sure to subscribe and consider becoming a member, $6 a month. And I'm going to end the previous stream. I forgot to set up redirect, so give me a couple seconds here to set up redirect. I'm going to bring people over. We basically did a Ghost of Yotei gameplay waiting room. And that was a really, really fun time. So thank you, everybody who just hung out and talked and chilled. So without further ado, we're going to get right into it. They're launching right into the